Are you planning to do home improvement this year at your house? If you are, you may want to pay attention to what this gentleman has to say before you go making a decision on who does the work at your house. Pleased to welcome back to our studios Trooper First Class David Peters, a public information officer with the Pennsylvania State Police at Troop N. And unfortunately, this is scam season. A lot of people out there you think are going to help you and do something nice to fix up your house, but they're going to take your money and run.
Yes. Again, with the improving weather that we're beginning to see, there's a lot more people out there looking to do, outdoor work, maybe work on the roof. Their driveway needs to be re-blacktopped, things like that, siding work. So it's very important to understand that the individuals that you're hiring to do your work, make sure that they're licensed. You can, again, anything I'm about to say, you can check on the Attorney General's website of Pennsylvania, and also know your rights as a homeowner. A lot of people in certain situations provide a large amount of money up front for the estimated approval, and that's not really what they're required to do. They're required to give a third of that in any kind of special ordering that needs to be done. And again, payment upon completion of the work. But you'll see a lot of these individuals who stop by here unannounced and say, hey, we saw something wrong with your roof, or your driveway needs to be blacktop. Not necessarily just older people, just anybody in general. Most people don't climb on their roof to see if there's a problem, and they assume, hey, I'm doing work downside, I have extra stuff, and before you know it, they're charging an astronomical amount of money and the job's not getting finished, or it's being left in worse condition than what it wasn't. So, you could check them. They're obviously the better business bureaus, places that you can check someone's credentials to make sure they are a licensed contractor. Also ask your borough. Most contractors or most townships or boroughs require someone to get a permit to do work in there. So if someone's approaching you that they want to do work, hey, I did work down my neighbor's house, check with the code enforcement officer. Make sure that person was actually licensed to be doing work down there. Now again, they might not have got the permit, so I don't know if your neighbor's following the thing, but again, it's another way to check if that individual has done work in your town and is reputable amongst the code enforcement officer.
And if someone does come around and maybe they're checking on something and they say, we've heard about all the scams where they don't have an ID, people didn't ask for ID, or they distract you at the front door and they sneak in your back door.
Absolutely. Again, most public utility companies, they provide a public release saying if they'll be working in a particular area. They might even call on the phone saying, the water company will be working in this area, might have low water pressure. Individuals coming to your door, they usually alert you to when they're coming to their door to check your meter and things like that. Again, you don't have to open the door. You check for ID, or if you're not expecting someone, call the company. Find out why somebody's on your door. And keep your other doors in your house locked. Understand that if somebody's at your front door, there could be a possibility that someone's trying to come in the back door and remove items from your property.
All righty. So best advice, check everything out before you hire someone, and if someone comes to your door, make sure they're legit.
Yes, you're about to partake in a home improvement, and it's going to cost a lot of money, and you want to get the value for the money that you're putting there. So it's important to do your homework and not, if it sounds too good to be true, it's usually not. If a roof goes for $4,000 and this guy's going to do your roof for $700, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's worth checking out.
Do you get a lot of calls this time of the year from people who are scammed?
Sure, you do. Usually ramps up, and in some cases you have, I want to call them criminal enterprise, but you have groups of individuals that move throughout counties. So maybe they start down south. So you'll start getting information, and then we'll start getting an intelligence that's saying, hey, we're looking for people that are possibly operating in the neighborhood. So it's important that people, if you see that type of thing going on, don't be afraid to call. And a suspicious vehicle in your neighborhood, you know who belongs in your neighborhood and who doesn't. Most likely you know your neighbors. So if they're getting work done, ask them. Especially if that person came to your house and said, hey, I could fix your, blacktop your driveway. Well, go down and talk to your neighbor and see if it was worth what they said they could do.
All right. As always, great advice to help keep you safe. If you have questions, ask them and make sure somebody reputable is doing your work. Thanks for coming in, Trooper Peters.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Trooper David Peters from the Pennsylvania State Police.